Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Babbling Irons video. Another transfer link here. Jack Clarke absolutely tearing it up in the Championship this season for Sunderland. He's been very, very good. Anyone that's been watching the Championship as well, the eye test won't lie. He has been in fantastic form this first half of the season. And likely as it is, when you're in the Championship, you will start to gain some interest from other clubs. And it's exactly what Jack Clarke started to do. Still only 23 years old, such a bright future ahead of him. He kind of, it's been a weird one for him because obviously he joined Spurs a few years ago with the expectations that, he was going to push on and try and push into the first team at such a young age. It didn't happen. He then got moved on. I think it was to Leeds. And then, yeah, now he finds himself at Sunderland and was there from League One, went up to the Championship with them. And now he's just performing really, really well. So before we get into like the main breakdown of who he is, how he would fit at West Ham, why we think it would be a good move, let's take a look at his previous seasons in terms of his goals and assists return and how he kind of find himself here. So as I mentioned, he was at Spurs. Before that, he was at Leeds. Sorry, and then yeah, he wasn't really getting in the main team. Was playing in the Premier League 2. He then moved to Sunderland when they were kind of in League 1. Didn't really return a lot of goals and assists, but made a decent impact for them. He then spent the whole of last season with them in the Championship with 9 goals and 12 assists from 45 games in the Championship. That is, and then he's just continued this season. His really good form is kind of flipped around, less assists but more goals. He's become a much more prolific winger, if that's what you would label him as. He's kind of an attacking midfielder winger, likes to play on that left-hand side, and has fantastic ball carrying capabilities, as you will see very shortly from the statistics. But at 23 years old, homegrown, meets the quota of what we need on that left-hand side. I think it would be a smart move. I think it's one for the summer. I don't expect it to happen in January at all. But once we start to, you look at the options we're going to have to flog in the summer. Cornet, Fornal's likely going to go. Ben Rama, like all of that left-hand side option is just going to be completely gone. And then even Paqueta, we don't know if he's going to stay in the summer. There's going to be a lot of clubs after him. So he's currently occupying that left-hand side. So in terms of an out-and-out left-handed side player who is very technical, good with both feet, can take the ball past a player, very good at dribbling, very good at ball carrying, and is now adding end product and very impressive end product to his game. It's a very interesting move, and he'll have a lot of Premier League clubs lining up for him this summer if Sunderland don't get promoted. And even if Sunderland do get promoted, there will be other teams looking at him, as there always is with Championship players. And, it's a league that's been kind to us in recent years. Think of Jared Bowen as being the prime example of what can come out of that division. There is definitely talent there. And at such a young age of 23, it makes sense to be looking at these types of deals for the summer to make sure we have the homegrown quota as well as the talent and the squad depth to be able to push on once again next year. We don't know what position we'll be in, but, we need to have that strength in depth. And, left-hand side has been a position we are very weak in, trying to fill in players like Paqueta, who has done very well there, but it's not his primary position. Fornals, again, a player that was kind of makeshifted out to that left-hand side. Ben Rama's the only really one that had any proper left wing experience. But again, he's failed to perform, especially this season, and it's likely he'll be moving. So let's take a look at the actual data behind Jack Clarke, because there's a lot of positivity in his play, and there's a lot to be impressed by. But just to kind of disclaimer, this is a comparison of, players in the attacking midfield or winger position over the last year. But it's only based on the men's next 14 competitions, which is basically the one under the top divisions as he is playing in the Championship. So it's not the Premier League or anything like that. It's the equivalent of the Championship across Europe. And it's based on 4,000 minutes played over that year. And you can see the percentile he falls into for each of them. Obviously, he'd like to be scoring more goals, and that percentile has massively increased this season. Obviously, this is based on the last year data and not just this season. So that has definitely gone up, and it's starting to creep up. But I want to kind of focus on the middle section, progressive carries, top 99th percentile, 6.84 per 90. That is an incredible statistic. He is someone that is going to be taking on and look to carry the ball. And, the one underneath that, successful take-ons, over 3 per match in the top 95, 95th percentile, touches in the attacking penalty area. He is a player that wants to make things happen, and he wants to find these areas to play in between. And when we need someone to link up play, is exactly what we need on that left-hand side. Right now, we have Paqueta, who will like to drift in. We have Emerson overlapping, and Paqueta will almost come and get the ball deep and look to play things over the top or look to create things from actual central areas or slightly inverted left wing areas. What Jack Clarke will provide us is width and pace and ball carrying ability and someone that will not be scared to take on a player. Think of how impressive Mo Kudus has been for West Ham so far this season. It's exactly those types of fundamentals that he has in his game for Jack Clarke. You know, it is very, very similar. And again, this season, Jack Clarke, his goal scoring form has gone up another level. And it's kind of made a lot of clubs be alert of the situation he now finds himself in, because West Ham would be an excellent move for him. Let's make no mistake about that. You know, it's why Jared Bowen probably left Hull in the way he did. West Ham are in a completely different position to that of 3-4 years ago. If we can sustain this season and get another European finish and, you know, even maybe do something in the Europa League, this is going to be a very attractive move for any championship player or even any kind of top player, really, because when you're consistently performing in Europe like we have been and we do it again, if we do it again, that's very impressive stuff to do. And someone like Jack Clarke's just going to develop a whole ton if he gets the minutes, of course, and if it's a player Moyes likes and thinks can make that jump up to the Premier League. That's the main reservation now. Can Jack Clarke make that step up to the Premier League, or is it too soon? Personally, I don't think it's too soon. You look at someone like Alex Scott last season at Bristol City, a player myself, Mike, especially on the Babbling channel, was shouting about to sign. He went to Bournemouth in the end. He's had some injury troubles, but you know, look at his last few weeks' performances. He's been absolutely sensational for them, and people are starting to take note. So the step up is tough, but not for these types of players. That you watch Jack Clarke play for Sunderland, he is a very, very good footballer. He's very intelligent. He's very good on the ball. You know, he can use both feet. He can go either way. He will look to take you on at any opportunity he can, and he will look to progress with the ball. Now, again, as I mentioned, Kudus does that for us at the moment on the right-hand side. We just lack it on the left-hand side, and we lack that depth. So I think it would be a great option to have in the summer. I don't think anything will come of it this January, to be honest. I don't think we necessarily have the funds unless we move on someone like Cornet, Ben Rama, or even Fornals and use that money to go out and maybe gamble on a championship option who might be a little bit cheaper than some of the other options out there. But, you know, if we just take a look again here, what's also impressive for me is his defensive discipline, you know, his defensive attitude. And it's probably, again, why Moyes is and Tim Steidlen, of course, are looking into him. And, you know, rumors are that we're currently looking to make a deal happen, and it's initial interest, but nothing concrete. But, you know, look at the bottom there, you know, tackles, 87th percentile, interceptions, 80th percentile, clearances, blocks. You know, he is a player that is industrial as well as talented. And again, that's something you have to buy into under David Moyes, and you have to buy into at West Ham. Otherwise, you're just going to find yourself out of the team very quickly. And you know, Kudus is a prime example of someone who isn't just a technical man. He isn't just the person that's going to progress the ball. He works so incredibly hard defensively, and he is very, very good defensively, making tackles, disrupting play, and then carrying the ball forwards. If we're going to play the way that Moyes wants to play and has done so far this season, getting an option like Jack Clarke on the left is perfect. It really is. And it allows us to then put Paqueta in the middle, where I still think is his best position, that deep 8 role. And I think we would see the best of West Ham if we had that option in midfield. You know, I still think, as good as Souček's been and the goal return he's had, that midfield three of Alvarez, Ward-Prowse and Paqueta is our best midfield three right now on paper. And if we're just missing that left wing link, really, to kind of complete that six before the defenders. So for me, Jack Clarke would be an interesting move. Again, not a move I see happening in January, but I may be wrong if concrete interest starts to go up a little bit. But he's going to be in demand in the summer, no doubt about that. He's been a very, very talented player in the Championship. And if you haven't watched his goals so far this season, just give him a quick watch on YouTube or any clips you can find on Twitter, because some of them are very, very high level. And, you know, it's what we need in our Arsenal right now. Another goal scoring option from the left-hand side rather than just relying on Bowen and Kudus at the moment, which has been a lot of what we've been doing lately on the counter-attack. So it'd be another option. It'd be great squad depth. It'd be another homegrown option, young, 23 years old, 5'11", fast, good on the ball, just so many good qualities, and obviously the defensive attitude and discipline as well. So yeah, Let me know in the comments what you think about Jack Clarke. Is it a move you would be interested in? Let me know. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are new around here. And until next time, come on, you Irons.